You've probably heard it a million times. India is this speeding locomotive, right? A future economic powerhouse. But what if that incredible, powerful engine is actually running on old, rusty tracks? Well, today, we're going to break down a blueprint that shows both India's amazing strengths and the hidden friction that's really holding it back.
So first, let's talk about that engine. I mean, it is truly world class. It's powered by one of the biggest demographic advantages in modern history. Get this, a massive 65% of India's entire population is under 35 years old. And look, this isn't just about a bunch of people. We're talking about a giant pool of energy, ambition, and some serious globally recognized tech talent that's just ready to go build the future.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch. That amazing engine is stuck running on these old, rusty tracks. Now, I'm not talking about actual railways here. The metaphor is about this deep systemic friction, a low-trust environment, and all this bureaucratic sludge that creates resistance at every single turn. It's what's stopping that engine from ever hitting its real top speed.
Okay, so let's really get into it. What does this rust, this friction, actually look and feel like in real life? Well, to put it simply, it's a low-trust environment that basically puts a hidden tax on every single thing you do, from your daily life to trying to run a big business.
Just think about the last time you had to type in a one-time password, an OTP, for some simple delivery. It happens so often you could almost call it the OTP economy. Needing a special code for a 400 rupee package? Come on. That isn't really about security. It's a symptom of a much bigger problem, a deep, pervasive distrust. And when you add up millions and millions of these tiny interactions every day, it becomes a colossal waste of productive time and energy. And, this friction puts an unbelievable burden on businesses. This slide here shows that a typical company might have to deal with over 70 different laws and file almost 100 returns every single year. Can you imagine trying to innovate and grow with that kind of weight on your shoulders? It just fuels this culture of inspections and compliance, what's known as the inspector Raj, where you're more focused on avoiding penalties than on actual growth. And this friction, it runs straight through the entire system. You have these well-intentioned policies that just get completely dismantled by bureaucracy and corruption. This slide, this shows a really shocking reality. For every 100 rupees set aside for a public good, sometimes as little as one single rupee actually gets to the person it was for. The other 99, they just kind of evaporate into the system. So what happens when the tracks are this rusty and the journey is just so difficult? Well, the best and the brightest passengers, they just decide to get off the train completely. And this leads to one of India's biggest challenges, a massive ongoing brain drain. And believe me, this is not a small problem. The economic cost is absolutely staggering. We're talking an annual loss of up to $50 billion in potential growth. And that isn't just some abstract number. It represents the future innovations, the businesses, and the leadership that are now being built somewhere else. This chart right here really tells you a big part of the story. It shows one of the key reasons why people leave. India invests just 0.7% of its GDP in research and development. Now, compare that to innovation hotspots like South Korea and Israel, who are both investing around 4%. If you're a top scientist, where are you going to go? You're going to go where the labs are well-funded and where the most exciting work is actually happening. And then you have this frustrating paradox. So India produces more engineers than any other country on the planet, which is amazing. But here's the catch. A shocking 80% are considered unemployable for high-skill, advanced tech jobs. There's this huge mismatch between what the education system produces and what the industry actually needs. It means that even the best graduates often have to look abroad for opportunities where their skills are really valued. So, if the old tracks are just too rusty to fix quickly, what do? Well, one really smart strategy is to start building brand new high-speed tracks right next to them. This is all about making strategic, what you might call asymmetric bets in areas where India can just leapfrog its old problems entirely. The whole idea behind these bets is to leverage India's deep pool of tech talent to solve its own problems on its own terms. So for example, instead of getting stuck in old, slow procurement processes, India could just build its own advanced defense systems. Instead of waiting for global AI companies, it could fund its own AI models that are perfectly tailored for Indian languages and agriculture. It's really about creating these high-value ecosystems that operate outside of the old friction-filled systems. Think of it like building a super-fast maglev line right next to the old, rusty railway.
Okay, so building new tracks is crucial, but you can't just abandon the entire old network, right? So, what's the blueprint for actually de-rusting the tracks that are already there? The plan really focuses on some fundamental systemic repairs.
And it all starts with the justice system. A slow, unpredictable legal system, it just locks up massive amounts of capital that could be used for growth. The proposal here is for a streamlined commercial court system with a really ambitious target, resolving cases in just 38 days. Getting that kind of speed and reliability would not only restore faith in the system, but it would inject a huge amount of money right back into the economy.
This also means we need a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about governance. The focus has to move away from what's called RevD culture, short-term political freebies, and move toward long-term investments in real public goods. We're talking about things like clean air, reliable sanitation, and laws that are actually enforced. These are the things that truly improve quality of life and create a solid foundation for growth that lasts.
And you know what? Aesthetics actually matter. A lot. This quote from Singapore's leader Lee Kuan Yew is so powerful. He understood that a clean, orderly city isn't just a nice place to live. It's a powerful signal to the rest of the world that your institutions are reliable and that you have your act together. This idea of civic aesthetics isn't just fluff. It's a real economic imperative. Because the cost of a poor environment is very, very real. High levels of air pollution, noise pollution, they're not just unpleasant, they actually impose a cognitive tax on everyone. Research is showing that these tiny PM 2.5 pollutants can cause neuroinflammation, which literally damages the nation's brain power and hurts productivity. A clean environment is a direct investment in your most important asset, your people. So, at the end of the day, the solutions are pretty clear. The blueprint to de-rust the old tracks and build new ones is right there on the table. It covers everything from judicial reform to smart tech bets and a new focus on public goods. The plan exists. The final and most crucial question is really about execution. Who is going to step up and lead the work crew to actually get it all done?